Hands up if you've ever found Pinterest confusing. Well, I've spent over the last 7 years on Pinterest and I know exactly how powerful it can be for businesses. So let's talk about how to get you and your business on Pinterest. Hi, I'm Sahar Twesijay. I'm a digital marketer, a Pinterest strategist, and host of the Daring Forward podcast on YouTube. If you want to get to know more about what I do, my channel, my socials, my website, I've made sure to link it all below. Let's drive straight into it. Here are 3 secret Pinterest strategies that most people don't know about. So if you were to implement these 3 strategies, you are going to have the competitive edge over most people. So let's start with the first one. Secret number 1 is avoid scripted fonts. Now that might sound like a really weird and random thing to do on Pinterest, but there's a reason. Now, I don't know if you remember a while back, especially on the online marketing and business space, where people absolutely loved using scripted fonts, kind of like how everyone's obsessed with pumpkin spice latte every fall, right? So people tend to use that font quite a bit, especially on Pinterest, because it's pretty, it's beautiful. They want to put it on their pins. The problem is that what most people don't realize is how the algorithm works. And the Pinterest algorithm has AI within it, which actually scans the images and scans the text that's within your pin image. And so if you put in a headline and you use scripted fonts, what we found is that the AI a lot of times doesn't actually understand what it's reading. It can't work out what the letters are. And so what ends up happening is that it shelves it differently. It doesn't know what to make of it. And so your pin might be about, let's say, healthy eating, but because it doesn't understand it, it kind of might shelf it in the beauty space, for example. And that's not what you want, because you want your pins to show up using the keywords you're using, and you want it to show up at the right place where people are searching. And so if you use scripted fonts and the AI misreads what is the text that is on your pin and shelves it differently, you're going to miss out on a huge opportunity of your pin actually reaching the people that you want it to reach. And so my advice would be to use just plain regular text. You could still use fun fonts, just make sure that they're not the scripted that look like they're handwritten. It has to look clear. And if you really, really need to use scripted fonts, then my tip for you would be to use it with filler words and not with the keywords that you're putting on your pins. So for example, let's say you have a headline that reads 10 different ways to decorate your living room shelf, okay? So if you want to use a scripted font, I would probably put it on the ways. I wouldn't put it on decorate or your shelf, because those are keywords that people will be searching for. So you want to use it with filler words, the, and, etc., etc. So make sure to avoid scripted fonts. Secret number 2 is check out the more like this pins. Now you might be like, what do you mean more like this pins? So let me explain. When you publish a pin on Pinterest and you click on it, or if you check out anyone else's pin and you click on it on Pinterest, and then it gives you that view where you can take a closer look at the pin. If you scroll down, you're going to see that Pinterest has this thing that's called more like this, which is its suggestion for more pins that are related, that are similar to the pin that you've put up. And this just helps pinners continue to stay on the platform and check out similar content to what they were searching for. So the reason why it's important to check out the more like this pins, especially when you've published your own pin, is because it gives you a good indication of how Pinterest has shelved your pin. So what most people don't know is that the AI and the Pinterest algorithm not only scans the text on your pin, but it also scans the image and tries to understand, what am I looking at here? So the image that you share on your pin is also very important. It has to be related to what you're talking about, because it's trying to create this full rounded picture of what your pin is about visually, in terms of the text as well, and the keywords that you use. So Pinterest is looking at all this information. And so when you check out the more like this pins, and you see what other pins Pinterest is showing you, it gives you a good indication of how it shelved your pin. So what I would do is, I wouldn't do it immediately. Give it a week or so. And if you're a new account, even longer, because it will take some time for it to shelf it and to understand and work out what your pin is about. But once you've done that, it's going to give you a lot of helpful information. Number 1, if you find that when you go on the more like this pins and you see that it's showing pins that are completely different to the topic that you're talking about, then you have to investigate why. Could it be that the image you shared is unrelated or it's confusing Pinterest? And so that gives you information that, okay, I need to create another pin for my product, my service, or my blog post that reflects it better. So that's a good indication. If it's showing other pins that are not related to what your pin is about, it could also have to do with your keywords or the text that you've used. And so that is an invitation for you to try again, try different keywords, and see next time you publish whether Pinterest gets it right. But I want to say this, don't panic, don't worry. If it doesn't get it right, this is all helpful information. It doesn't mean you failed. It just means that you can now take this on board as really valuable feedback for the next time you create pins, so that you're not just repeating the same stuff and wondering why your Pinterest strategy isn't working, right? So it's all about looking for feedback and then tweaking your strategy based on the feedback that you're getting. And then if you do find that Pinterest has shelved your pin correctly and you're seeing that there's other pins that are very similar and it's the same topic, then this is also helpful information for you. And you can use that to see, what are other people doing out there? What are other pins that are performing well? And look at what's working for them. Check out how they've used their images, how they've worded their headlines, and what keywords they're using as well, and see what you can take and implement into your own strategy. And finally, with secret number 3 is make sure to use related keywords. Now, related keywords are something that Pinterest actually suggests to you, and a lot of people miss out on this suggestion by Pinterest. So when you go on the Pinterest platform and you type in the toolbar and you put in your keywords and you're searching for a particular type of pin, and when you click enter, Pinterest is going to show you a whole bunch of pins, whether they're video pins, image pins, whatever. If you keep scrolling down, what you'll find is Pinterest is going to suggest related keywords, and you'll find it in like a small column in between all the pins if you keep scrolling. And what this does is that it shows you other popular keywords related to the pins that you're seeing, that it's showing you based off the keyword that you've put in. And why this is helpful is because these are more keywords that Pinterest are suggesting that will help with your strategy, because then you can take these keywords and put them in your boards. You can put them in your pins for the next time that you're using. And this is really great because it is showing you keywords that you normally might not know to think of, and you wouldn't be able to just type in on the search bar. So Pinterest is kind of like giving you that leg up and saying, have you thought about these different keywords? And sometimes they might not be immediately related to the pin or the topic that you're looking for, but it's showing you complementary keywords to it. So again, if you want to implement that well-rounded strategy of how to reach your target audience on Pinterest, this is a great tool to use, because it's not only showing you the keywords that are directly related to the content that you want to talk about or share, it's also showing you the complementary keywords and topics. So this will help you with your content strategy and think about, oh, like this is really popular on Pinterest, but I'm not talking about it. So how can I add that to my portfolio of content that I share on Pinterest? So don't sleep on the related keywords on Pinterest. So that's it for today. Don't forget to use those 3 secret strategies that most people are sleeping on when it comes to Pinterest. The first one being avoid scripted fonts. The second one is check out the more like this pins. And finally, don't forget to explore related pins on Pinterest. Now, I'm excited to hear from you guys. Which of these secret strategies are you going to implement first? I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments. And if you have any questions at all, please feel free to ask away. We'll do our best to answer every single question that you have. And finally, don't forget to subscribe to the Hey Jessica channel for more content like this that will help you grow your online business.